Hey, change it up today. I got it, guys. Hey, every one of you is here for a reason, for a purpose. All right? You're not here by accident. We wanted you here. We brought you here. You have a gift. Bring that gift to the table today, man. Bring it to the table. We talked all week about finishing. Finish every block. Finish every tackle. Finish every play. And finish the damn game. Let's go. Let's go. Vikings on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Viking Spin. I'm your host, Jason, and we're coming at you today with the Vikings-Giants preview here in Week 5. The Giants and Vikings are both coming into this game at 2-2, both looking to get a win on Sunday, get above 500. In the NFC, there's no team right now that has more than 3 wins in the conference, so both the Vikings and the Giants are very much in the playoff race right now. So we're going to get into the injury reports and key matchups and the keys to a Vikings victory on Sunday. So the injury reports have the Vikings with Mackenzie Alexander and Kentrell Brothers out. For the Giants, they're going to be without Saquon Barkley, their star running back. Also out for them is going to be a pair of starting linebackers and Alec Ogletree and Tate Davis. And questionable is the third starting linebacker, Lorenzo Carter. So the Vikings probably have an edge here on the injury report with the Giants minus their best player on offense and at least two starting linebackers out and the third one banged up. So definitely something to watch there with the Giants linebacker core. Getting on to some of the key matchups in this game. Why don't we jump right into the Vikings wide receivers? And of course, we'll have to mention Stephon Diggs here. The whole Stephon Diggs brouhaha this week was a bit alarming on, sort of the way Diggs handled it. But I'm hoping that this blows over. The Vikings have an opportunity here to go on a hot streak, in my opinion, over the next 4 games. But clearly Diggs, I think, wants to see the Vikings throw the ball more. It's a little bit hard with the way the offensive line's pass blocking, but I do think that the play calling can assist with that a little bit. Some scheming just to get defenses to back out of that pass rush a little bit. But with that said, this game is a great opportunity for the Vikings to get the passing game going, since the Giants, as we're going to get into here, lack a pass rush, and they are weak in the secondary. They're actually second to last in average yards per game in pass plays. So onto that matchup, it's you got Diggs. If he plays, he's not being disciplined by the team, according to Mike Zimmer. Said that we'll see if he'll play. Personally, I think he's going to play because the Vikings need him to play, quite frankly. If you look at this matchup, without all the drama, Diggs, Thielen, and VC Johnson against Giants corners, Janoris Jenkins, DeAndre Baker, and Grant Haley. Now, Janoris Jenkins is really the only solid cornerback that the Giants have. He's the veteran of the group. DeAndre Baker is a rookie. Very raw. He's been getting burnt pretty badly so far this season, as is their nickel cornerback, Grant Haley. So there'll definitely be opportunities there for either Diggs or Thielen, who is ever not being covered by Jenkins. Will have a really favorable matchup. And I think VC Johnson might be able to get something going here this week against Grant Haley. I've been screaming for weeks for the Vikings to line Diggs and Thielen up on the same side of the field to avoid both of them being double teamed, as we saw that again last week with the Bears. This is something that we saw last year that just takes a little bit of common sense to line them both up on the same side so that you can avoid that. It's just been beyond baffling to me. Um, but the Vikings do have an edge here when it comes to these matchups when we're looking at man to man. So um, they should be able to get the passing game going with these favorable matchups against the Giants secondary. Um, the Vikings running backs against the depleted Giants linebacking core. Um, the Giants are going to have to um, play Nate Stupar and David Mayo as fill-ins for Ogletree and Davis. Now the Giants, they like to use a 3-4 defensive front with a money backer, kind of like the Green Bay defense, where you have that linebacker safety hybrid in Tay Davis. Well, he's not going to be playing, and when they go to with him and Ogletree, who are the faster cover linebackers, you're going to be going to Stupar and Mayo, who are not as speedy as those guys. So that could be a favorable matchup for the Vikings on outside runs and in the passing game. Should they choose to match the running backs up with the linebackers or the tight ends? Moving on to the Vikings offensive line against the Giants D line. The Vikings are going to get a little bit of a boost this week on the offensive line. Josh Klein is healthy again. Before he went out, Klein, along with Brian O'Neill, were the two really solid offensive linemen that the Vikings have. The left side and the center have been very helter-skelter so far, but those two have been really solid. So it's good to get Klein back, get Dakota Dozier off the field because he's been absolutely horrible. Now the Giants, using their 3-4 look, sometimes they go to a 4-3 and use Marcus Golden, who acts as a Sam linebacker and a defensive end when he goes to the 4-3. He's their best pass rusher, but he's really their only pass rusher. So, if he's lined up against O'Neill, it's a matchup I feel pretty good about. On the other side with Reef, Vikings could look to give Reef a little help, not really have to worry too much about the rest of the line in terms of pass rush. They have an opportunity to bounce back in this game in the running game as well. So Dalvin Cook could definitely get going in this game. It's going to be on the inside runs because the Giants do have a stout interior defensive line, so you want to attack the edges against this team, which plays into Dalvin Cook's strengths. So should be a pretty good game for him as well. Moving on to the tight ends, Kyle Rudolph and Irv Smith Jr. against Giants safeties Jabril Peppers and Antoine Bethea. Now, if the Giants roll the safeties over to the wide receivers, then the tight ends should have very favorable matchups against the slower Giants linebackers. But if the safeties have their eyes on the tight ends, Bethea is the one to attack the Smith Jr. He's aging. He's lost a step or two, and I think the Vikings should try to use Irv Smith Jr.'s speed down the seam, get some big plays out of this game. Now, Kirk Cousins against Giants defensive coordinator James Bettcher. Now, I think if Cousins can get in a rhythm in this game with some early quick completions, I think he can get his confidence up, and I think he can have his best game of the season against this Giants team. They really struggle against the pass. The key for Cousins is just going to be diagnosing the blitz and whether the Giants are in man or zone. You want to use your motions to find that out. So now, since the Giants don't have the great pass rush, Cousins should have some more time to throw. This week, he can hit some big ones to Diggs and Thielen against those weak cornerbacks. So hopefully the play calling lends itself to some of those opportunities. Defensively in this game, now the Giants they have a pretty good offense, but they do have a rookie quarterback who's kind of gotten away with some probably what would have been some interceptions or really bad plays, but he's been playing a couple of weak defenses. So it'll be important for Zimmer to try to confuse him. On the outsides, the Giants get Golden Tate back this week after his 4-game suspension. So he'll be one to watch. It'll be interesting to see where they line him up, like whether he's going to be outside or in the slot, because the Giants have Sterling Shepard, who excels in the slot as well. They also use Darius Slayton, an undrafted free agent speedster on the outside. I think he'll draw Trey Waynes in this game. And the Vikings will match up Rhodes, Waynes, and Hughes. Hughes will be the nickel cornerback uh, this week. Of course, Alexander is out. But Tate's the one to watch. He's had success against the Vikings in the past, so he's the one you want to keep an eye on, maybe even roll over some safety help at times against him. So that's what you have in that matchup. The Vikings, that'll probably be the biggest key. With, of course, with Saquon Barkley out, the Giants might decide they're gonna air it out this week. So the pass rush will be key. Looking at that, the Vikings D line against the Giants offensive line. So if the Vikings can get some pressure here, that'll definitely make things easier. But you want to make sure you play contain to a certain extent against Daniel Jones because he is mobile. The Vikings do have the edge on the outside with Griffin against Nate Solder, and Daniil Hunter will be going up against Mike Remmers, the former Viking, who's now back at his natural right tackle spot with the Giants under head coach Pat Shurmur. Now, the Giants have a pretty strong interior offensive line in terms of being stout, trying to get their running game going. They got Will Hernandez, Kevin Zeitler, and John Halapio inside. The Vikings will counter with ex-Giant Linval Joseph and Shamar Stephen, who are pretty solid against the run, so that should be a nice matchup there, strength against strength. The Vikings, when they go with the interior speed, they will have an edge with Weatherly and Mataafa because those interior guards, while they're really good at pushing the pile in the run game, they're not the most agile. So maybe we can get some inside pressure there. That'd be really good and could prove good in the team rush effort, pass rush effort. Then you got the Vikings linebackers, Anthony Barr, Eric Kendricks, and Ben Gideon against Giants running backs Wayne Gallman and Elijah Penny. So Barkley not playing this game definitely makes it easier on the Vikings linebackers in terms of him in the passing game and the running game, because Barr struggles against those speedy running backs in the passing game, as we saw last week against Tariq Cohen. But Gallman is not the game breaker that Barkley is. So if they can stuff him in the running game, they won't have to worry too much about him. I expect to see more of Ben Gideon this week over Eric Wilson because the Giants will probably use Elijah Penny, who has also played some fullback. He's a bigger running back. He's 250 pounds. So you're going to want a more stout linebacker playing when he's in the game, especially. Now the Vikings safeties here against the Giants tight ends. Evan Ingram is definitely one to watch. He's a really good weapon for the Giants. He's probably going to draw Jaron Curse a lot. You could see the Vikings go to the big nickel. Harrison Smith and Anthony Harris will probably be roaming over the field. They could be giving safety help over the top. Harrison Smith could be blitzing, he could be bluffing. I expect a lot of action out of those two guys, a lot of free safety looks as well. Now, the keys to a Vikings victory here, the Vikings are looking to bounce back against the Giants. They don't have that suffocating defense that the Bears had last week. So I do expect the Vikings offense to move the ball a lot more effectively and be able to score points this week. The Giants don't have that pass rush. The run defense is ranked 19th. The pass defense is ranked 25th. So the Vikings can definitely use this game to improve their play calling, the flow of the game, and finding a balance on offense. And definitely being able to get the ball downfield more and get their passing game into a rhythm. And I think if the Vikings get off to a fast start in this game, of course, Daniel Jones to really have to be a pocket passer the whole time and, getting a third and long, having to play from behind, that'll definitely play into the Vikings' hands. Yeah, I want to see Mike Zimmer confuse this rookie with a lot of different looks. He doesn't have Saquon Barkley in this game to lean on, so that's really big. The biggest key, like I said, you just got to play tight coverage on the receivers. Make sure Golden Tate doesn't beat you. And Evan Ingram is the other one to really keep an eye on when the Giants go into a two tight end set. Uh, the rush plan's got to be contained, like I said, against Jones. He's mobile. But if you stop the run on the early downs, you definitely make it easier on yourself in third and long. And you want to prevent Pat Shermer from getting into a play calling rhythm. You know he's capable. So, these are the things they didn't do enough of last week. You need to be better on early downs this week defensively, so that it's not 3rd and 2 or 3 or 4. It's more 3rd and 7, 8, 9, 10. If you can accomplish these objectives this week, I think the Vikings will be victorious. They'll get out of here 3-2, with the Eagles at tap on tap next week at home. So thanks so much, guys, for tuning in to another edition of Viking Spin. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and encourage others to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we'll see you next time. Skol Vikings.